Hello my dear viewers and welcome back to my channel. Today I will give you 7 truths about masculine energy and feminine energy that you might not have heard before. Because there are a lot of misconceptions about those very popular topics out there, and I really need to share those truths with you. Because I have seen that many women are really struggling with the topic of energy. They try to be in their feminine energy, but it somehow doesn't feel right, or it feels fake, and that's why I will debunk all those misconceptions in this video, and I think in the end you will feel enlightened and maybe learn something new. So stay until the end and we will straightly start with truth number 1. We all, women and men, have both energies in us. We have the masculine energy in us and we have the feminine energy in us. It is about the balance. And we both, also women, live out both energies in different situations of life. And that's totally correct and right, because it would be very unnatural and not working if we were in our feminine energy all the time. But before I continue with the other truths that go a little bit deeper, for those of you who might not be very familiar with those very popular terms of masculine energy and feminine energy, let's just do a little resume. I will explain to you in a very simple way what masculine and feminine energy actually is, so that you directly understand what we are talking about. So first of all, let's look at those two energies that we also know as yin and yang. So that's just another concept, but it's basically the same. So we have the masculine energy, which is generally an energy of doing, thinking. It's logical, direct, structured and action driven. While the feminine energy is quite the opposite. It is about being, feeling. It's more intuitive or emotional, in contrast to logical. It is more patient and more creative, as well as relationship driven or relationship oriented. So by looking at those different characteristics, you might already recognize some of the masculine ones in your personality. Or you might see that you are actually using maybe more characteristic from the masculine side than from the feminine, especially in specific situations of life. But don't panic. That doesn't mean that you are not feminine or that you are too much in your masculine energy. No, it is totally normal that we have both energies as women, and it is totally okay and right that we act out of those different energies. And some personalities, like mine, for example, are more structured, are more organized, and I live that out in specific areas of my life. And that is right, that's in balance with me. But it doesn't mean that I'm in general a masculine energy woman, because in other areas of life I am more in my feminine energy. And that's my personal balance. The most important areas in which those energies become very important are usually our romantic life. And I will come to that later. But let's now proceed to truth number 2. So as I said, we have a balance of masculine energy, and each person has their own individual balance. And that also means that for some women, being too much in their feminine energy will not feel right. And they will also feel inauthentic and appear unauthentic. The reason for this and why this happens to many women out there is that they are not in their balance. They are trying to be in an energy most of the time in which they don't belong most of the time. And now we come to the third truth that is very interesting and that many people get wrong. And just recently I have seen again that some women seem to believe that seduction means that you have to be in your feminine energy. You know what? Seduction is pure masculine energy. The seductresses of history. And that's the big confusion. They were very feminine while they were purely in their masculine energy to seduce someone. Cleopatra, Mata Hari, Harem Sultan. By the way, I have made videos about those feminine icons, and if you are interested, watch my playlist about feminine icons. If we look again at the overview of masculine energy and feminine energy characteristics, we see that seduction is masculine. Seduction, in the way that Cleopatra did it, is an action. It is directed. It is organized and structured. It was even a little bit manipulative. But this is because those seductresses of history, they really planned their seduction. They had a goal and they had a plan. And the way they executed it, the way they seduced, even though they did it in a very subtle way, it doesn't change the energy. And it is totally possible to be extremely feminine and act in a masculine energy. And in seduction, that's the best example. But of course, women still do it in a different way than men. If seduction was feminine, you would just sit there and receive and you would not do anything. And that's not seduction. So now we come to the biggest misconception and the biggest confusion. Femininity is not the same as feminine energy. On this channel, we are talking a lot about femininity. If we just look at the topics that we discuss on our channel, or on my channel, your channel too. By the way, if you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button and become part of our community. So, femininity is about looking feminine, about feeling feminine, about beautiful hair, beautiful makeup, beautiful feminine clothes. It's about enhancing your softer side, your sensual side. It's about feminine movement, a graceful posture, graceful expressions, a soft voice. It is about many, many aspects that we connect with femininity. Of course, this is also individual to everyone, but those are the general things that we identify as feminine. So looking feminine, smelling feminine, moving in a feminine way, acting in a feminine way. But feminine energy is something different. It is an energy that both sexes can have. That means those characteristics of feminine energy, they also exist and they are acted out by men. And that's totally okay and normal. And as I said, depending on the situation and on the individual balance. So do not confuse femininity with feminine energy. Those are two different things. They can exist independently from each other or coexist. And this leads us to truth number 5. It is possible, therefore, that a completely feminine looking woman is completely in her masculine energy. It exists in different areas of life. There are those women who look incredibly feminine. For sure, they also smell very feminine and they use makeup. They love also feminine environments. So those women have a very strong masculine energy in their career field. And that doesn't mean that they have to have this masculine energy in their private life. It can happen too. It can work, but it doesn't have to. And that's mostly the romantic field, the area in which masculine and feminine clash. So we have the men who are usually in their masculine energy. That's actually the way it should be. That works the best by nature. But it is also possible that it's the other way around and that a woman is in the romantic relationship mostly in her masculine energy, while the man is more in his feminine energy. I have seen relationships like that and they work. And why do they work? Because those individuals have a compatibility in their energies. Maybe not the usual thing, but there are always exceptions. And that's another truth. And now we come to truth number 6. Besides the energies, we also, of course, are a physical being. So we as women, we are in a feminine body with specific hormones that have a strong influence on our feelings, on our acting, on our behavior. And then we also have the mental embodiment. So how are we conditioned? What have we learned through education, through life, social conditioning, etc. And that all has an influence on how we feel in our energy. For most of us women in the romantic field, for example, feel better when we are in our feminine energy. That's why most relationships function better and the woman feels much better on the long run, more aligned, more happy, more fulfilled if she can be in her feminine energy most of the time and the man is in his masculine energy most of the time. This is also the reason why many women, not only in relationships but also in their lives, become unhappy, unfulfilled, hardened, burned out. Because due to their environment, that doesn't only have to be the man, it can also be the circumstances, work circumstances, financial circumstances, and so much pressure that the woman is forced to act in her masculine energy most of the time. And that's for most women not natural, because it doesn't align with their given balance of energy, and they start feeling drained. So always remember that the physical and mental embodiment has an influence on the energy you feel good with or you feel best with. But, and now we come to truth number 7, and that's also important to know. Don't feel desperate now if you don't align with the last point, because besides of our physical and mental embodiment, we are also spiritual beings. And that's another very important truth. You can be born as a woman, but you can spiritually be much more drawn to the masculine energy, or vice versa. You are an individual spiritual being also, and that this can have an influence on the balance of your energies. So this basically refers to point number 2, that every person has their own balance of masculine and feminine energy, and point number 5, that it is possible to be a very feminine looking, smelling, etc. lady, but feel more aligned with the masculine energy in specific areas of your life. I hope you now understood the concept of feminine energy better, and that it's not as it's portrayed in social media, that you now have to do this and do that and be receptive and be here and be passive. You don't have to. You are your individual, and if you feel better in your masculine energy by doing certain things, or even in specific areas of life, you have to feel balanced and aligned with yourself. You are here to become the best version of yourself, and I will help you in that in many aspects. And the next video that I will publish soon will be about a topic that I really love and is so interesting, about seduction. And I will define some feminine seduction archetypes. So if you don't want to miss that video, because you will also learn some skills, make sure that you not only subscribe to that channel, but also activate a notification bell so that you will be notified when I upload that video. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I will see you in my next. Bye bye.